So our objection is the validity of the claim of the Ashkenazim to be legitimate descendants of the ancient Israel. That's our objection.
My point to that also is, why is that a hill denial? Because I'm sure you're familiar with the concept that people are ethnic people and they're religious, correct?
Yeah, but that's in one, not one or the other. Meaning, in ancient times, well, allow me to explain, right? For example, we read in the Torah, we read in the Tanakh in general, right? We read about different people, like the Philistines, they had their gods. The Canaanites had their gods. The Egyptians had their gods. We had our God, right? So there's no disconnection between the ethnic group and the spiritual system. It was all one. Now the concept is evangelizing any ethnicity into following religions all over the world. Like any ethnic group could be Muslim, though that came from the Arabs. Anybody could be Christian. Anybody could be whatever religion they want.
I mean, yes, in theory, that's correct.
In antiquity, though, your deity was directly tied to your ethnic group. There was no separation.
Well, we're talking about specifically in the case of the Jews.
Yeah,
historically, there is a ethnic connection to the religion.
Exactly. He's the God of Israel.
And there are, of course, people that are pure converts and descendants of converts. Right? But to say that Ashkenazis don't have any ethnic or racial ties related to the Jewish people, the original Jews, is historically and factually incorrect.
Okay, so you're saying that. So now that's what I'm challenging, the establishment of the validity of the lineal claim, right? Because last I checked, there was a genetic bottleneck event that occurred in order for the Ashkenazim to exist. And that mostly happened in the Rhineland there in eastern Germany.
I hear what you're saying.
And this came from the Kalanimus family. The Kalanimus family were not Jews. The Kalanimus family formulated the nucleus of the genetic and the biological example of the Ashkenazim. So that's what I'm saying. They were not ethnic Israelites.
So I'm going to throw it back for you.
Yes, sir.
What is
The Bible.
Right.
No? Okay, why not? You're saying no, why not?
Because I'm not saying every single one of you, big portions that are not descendants from groups that came from the regions where the Jews were expelled to or migrated from following the Babylonian and the Roman expulsion.
How is that based on what?
Based on historical facts.
Okay. How is that based on historical? Okay, so you're saying a lot. Okay, so give me an example.
The majority of the expulsion were along the side of Ethiopia.
Oh, okay, so
What's called in AHLAZAR is called English.
Okay. In Ethiopia, right? So what happened in Ethiopia in about 400 AD?
Tell me.
Okay, the Nubians and the Axumites were at war, and many Eastern African people. Hold on. You're already responding before I calm down. Many people were migrated out of East Africa into West Africa. Right? So it's not about where the expulsion went. Just like you said, initially the Ashkenazim went straight for Rome, but then the Ashkenazim went to Eastern Europe. Same thing. Initially, there was an East African and a North African expulsion of migration that later on migrated into West Africa that was largely uninhabited prior to.
So with your logic, right, let's say you take an expelled Jew from Judea, and then he goes to Ethiopia. His family, for years, goes to West Africa. Is that not a civil where there is intermarriage?
Allegedly.
Where there is
No. So yes, on the surface. Hold on, sir. What's your name? AHLAZAR. That's my name too. Right?
What's your name actually, AHLAZAR?
Yes. So that's great, right? So AHLAZAR, listen. What I'm saying is, yes, on the surface, same thing. But what I'm saying is, I'm challenging that that's what happened to you. I believe that you guys descend from the Kalanimus family, right? So the Kalanimus family was never. So that's where my objection is coming in there. And let me give you a little bit of clarity, because prophetically, somebody was going to come and assume the identity of the Jews, right? So somebody has to be guilty of the identity thing, right? And who better than the individuals who everybody looks at as Jews? Right, the Most High calls the Jews in Isaiah my hidden ones, right? Y'all ain't hidden. Everybody's saying y'all the Jews.
And you have to understand, I'm not a religious person. I clearly don't actually believe in any of it. In the sense that for me, it's about the heritage, the culture, the traditions.
You matter. I should.
Sure. Okay. And also, even if I were to believe in God, I don't think it's because as a person, I don't believe in it. What I'm telling you right now is my understanding of history, right? And yeah, it's not. Based on your, or even if there was facts, it's not all facts.
Okay, what did I say that wasn't a fact?
Listen, we can talk about this, you know, like also clearly you got video, the entire crowd of this stuff.
I'm just saying, what did I say that wasn't a fact?
What you say with that
That's fact. Is it untrue?
There's definitely sure. That's where
The Ashkenazi come out of 4 rooms according to their own people. 4 women.
yeah.
But according to them, the man got to be Jewish.
So you think all of us
But that's what the claim is by the Ashkenazi, according to the genetic bottleneck theory.
and also
Propagated by Dr. Henry Abramson, scholar in Judaism. They're related. Sure. Yes, but so this is something, right? Which I just going over this. Geneticist who was a professor at the Jerusalem University, right? The Hebrew University in Jerusalem. That idea is based upon a preconceived bias, right? And what it means is because you're already walking in assuming that these are Jews, and then they're related, it's circularly validating itself. But there's nothing objective that's substantiating. Nothing. Okay, this person's saying he's a Jew, and he's related to this other person who's saying he's a Jew, so it must be true. That's not how things work. That's not an objective fact. That's still very subjective.
right.
Listen, but so for you to tell me that I'm making up history because there are literal people who don't share my ideology, who are scholars, who are forwarding this, that I'm not inventing anything. You're just trying to frame it like I made something up. And you're familiar with theories that your people are forwarding, who are scholars themselves, geneticists, professors, PhDs. Therefore, I'm not making, so for you to sit here and come to me like I'm making something up, that's very disingenuous, and that validates many of our critiques about the flawed morality that you guys have. You're proving the point now. Thanks.
Saying that you are not certain views and certain history that people reject. That's the difference.
You are too, though. Are you?
You can come.
Everybody does. When you research the information and you come to a conclusion, of course you side with it. Whatever led you to the conclusion.
Of course,
Everybody has their views,
and everybody has their claims, and everybody has their
Yes, sir.
once again, Robert, I feel like it's still my problem. Why are you so set for this specific?
Here's why.
Why so specific against, Jews that are living that want I don't know what to call it.
Not gonna call
organization.
You don't have to be a part of my organization for me to believe in Jews or Israel. It's not in front of being part of the organization. Number one. Of course, there is that very textbook European passive-aggressive microaggression. There it is. Thanks so much.
Eyes him on the track. premium Guerrilla Hebrew content. Just go to www.grla.tv now. Sign up and be prompted to download the app right to your phone. No need to search in the App Store. Get exclusive premium content from street teaching, podcasts, shows, and more. Too hot for YouTube. Message Guerrilla directly and sign up for his leadership, debate, and biblical finance courses. Book a counseling session, get life coaching, and more. All only at Guerrilla.tv.